Someone who's been trying to break that cycle for a while, Jillian Michaels, host of Keeping It Real podcast. Jillian, I have a feeling that you might agree with me on some of this.
That was beautiful. I mean, I could not have said that better myself. Holy cow. I am with you 100% and deeply impressed by that monologue. Bravo.
Thank you. But you've
Yeah.
been fighting this battle for quite some time, and I actually listened to your recent podcast on Rogan. Fantastic, by the way. But you address something that nobody's really wanting to address because everybody's feelings are hurt about being fat.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the healthy at any size narrative is a psyop. You just touched on this. It's a big food narrative. They paid off registered dietitians and health influencers to put this messaging into the social media zeitgeist, period, end of story. And then they bought the narrative with legacy media, just like the pharmaceutical companies, and people are waking up. And I would simply say you've got to defer to your common sense. If it didn't have a mother, if it didn't come from the ground, if it doesn't expire, as you so appropriately put it, it's not food. And you should definitely limit how much of it you consume, if not avoid it altogether when possible.
Yeah. I got to get your take on Casey Means. Now, there's some people that are for her, against her, and some have legitimate concerns. Some I think are a little bit stupid. But what's your take?
Okay, good. Oh, I'm so excited to tackle this. First of all, she's a personal friend.
Okay.
I've known her for probably 4 years. I discovered her on a Barry Weiss podcast. So when people are skeptical of hers and her brother Callie Means meteoric rise, it hasn't been meteoric. It's kind of like the way they say a 10-year journey is an overnight success because people who aren't in health and wellness are just now coming to discover that. She is brilliant. She graduated president of her class with honors from Stanford Medical School. She trained in head and neck surgery. And then, hold on, I literally had to write all of this down so I don't forget it. She was an associate editor for the International Journal of Disease Reversal and Prevention. She held research positions for the NIH, NYU, Stanford, and OHSU. She has more accolades and awards in academia than I can even begin to list here. If this is not a qualified candidate, you got me. I don't know who is.
Jillian, the craziest thing, like I didn't even know all that. I knew some of it.
Oh, she's brilliant.
Yeah,
she's brilliant.
Clearly, she's the right person for this job. I mean, the left will say she's not qualified for it. However, the most of the publications that, hate Donald Trump or whatever said popular health influencer gets surgeon. It's like, this is a medical doctor.
Not only a medical doctor, she graduated from Stanford with honors, president of her class. I mean, she is a genius. And what they grabbed onto is the fact that she moved out of Oregon and last year decided to put her medical license on inactive because she wasn't sure which avenue of wellness she wanted to pursue. She founded a company called Levels, which helps people monitor their blood sugar. She's a New York Times bestselling author. She was going back and forth on whether or not she wanted to roll in the current administration to avoid things just like this. And what's so funny is her and I were talking just a few months ago. And, she couldn't believe the hate that she was seeing online before this opportunity obviously ever came up. And she goes, her and her brother had lost their mom to diabetes and pancreatic cancer. So that's what created this massive shift for her into functional medicine from head and neck surgery. And she looks at me and she goes, Jill, I don't know if I want to take this level of involvement in the administration. I'm doing this for my mom. And she is an exceptional human being with an incredible pedigree. And the people who are attacking her are either morons, I'm sorry to say, or have an unbelievably evil agenda, period.
It's fascinating. As I've actually followed you for a really long time. So it's I'm kind of starstruck a little bit having you on here.
Oh, you're so kind.
But also, I've followed you through most of your career, but the Rogan interview that you did, where you mentioned, look, I'm a classic liberal, and I don't believe in all the MAGA policies, but you're just a common sense person. And why has health become so controversial in politics now?
Money. It's all about money and incentives. And while I do appreciate that the toxic triad of big ag, big food, and big farming donate to all of our politicians, somehow Trump made it a priority and then tapped RFK. I can't believe it. And everybody on the right is falling in line here. They're determined to make a difference, despite how much they have taken for their campaigns and whatever else is going on with campaign finance. I'm certainly no expert in it, but we all know this happens. It managed to break through on the right and become a priority. And honestly, thank God. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity to make real change that we are desperately in need of. And just to say this, as I'm sure you now know, and your listeners probably know as well, we have the worst health outcomes out of all the G7 countries and spend the most on healthcare.
Yeah.
The system is broken. People are dying. Our life expectancy is 10 years less than countries like Japan. It's unacceptable. We have the sickest kids than pretty much any other country in the world. We need change. And the pushback that you're seeing is absolutely driven by money and power, without question.
This, I mean, should be a uniting issue. But I want to play a clip for our audience of you testifying in front of Congress back in September. It was something everybody should have burned into their memory. Roll it.
The entirety, almost, of my generation, along with the 2 generations that followed, have fallen victim to America's unchecked obesity crisis, literally and figuratively, blindly trusting that the powers that be would never betray us. I mean, it seemed unthinkable to question whether a corporation would poison us for profit. I mean, the widespread assumption, at least when I was a kid, was that they were acting on our behalf. They wanted to make food, more affordable and more convenient. But it was this betrayal of trust that allowed them to insidiously infiltrate every part of our lives.
And now, as of like this week, food companies, because of RFK and people like you, are saying, yeah, we're going to get those dyes out of our food. We're going to stop putting glyphosate in Girl Scout cookies.
We've got a long way to go, but we have to celebrate every victory, no matter how small. And the reason I say we've got a long way to go, because there's 10,000 chemicals in our food supply that need to be reevaluated, that have slipped through a loophole with the FDA called the GRAS rule, the generally recognized as safe rule. And Kennedy has put that under review, amongst many other initiatives that he is tackling at the moment, like taking soda off of SNAP, or looking at all the garbage and poison that's in baby formula, or, I don't know, trying to get to the bottom of what's behind our exploding autism epidemic over the past 20 years. How in the name of God are we not all celebrating this? I simply don't know. I think it's the left just saying, resist at all costs.
Yeah.
No matter what, just resist. Even if it's your life and the health of your kids, just resist, because it's Trump. It's bananas.
Yeah.
Bananas.
I mean, it really is. And I will say that I agree 100% with everything that you say, and we're not even on the same political side as your class. So, I mean, and also today was chest day for me, so this is like the best interview I could have done today. So, Jillian Michaels, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Her podcast, Keeping It Real, is...
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.